Press play on learning, creating and delivering content to a digital generation. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Cori Cruz. I am an Associate Professor of Accounting at Valdosta State University. Thanks so much for joining me today for the presentation. Let's start out with a fun activity. So if you'll scan the QR code, this will take you to a Kahoot. If you're familiar with Kahoots, awesome. If you're not, that's okay. You'll do something fun and new today. So again, scan this and let's talk a little bit about attention spans and how long people like to pay attention to different things. So this is going to ask you several questions for you to give me some input on several questions related to attention. Now, since I'm not with you live and in person, what I'll ask you to do is pause the presentation, answer those questions, and then unpause. So we'll get back after you've had a chance to answer those. Okay? Fun stuff. Talk to you in a minute. Were you surprised by some of those? Maybe you were, maybe you weren't. Did you know that a goldfish can pay attention longer than we can? I think all of these questions kind of point us in the direction that is very similar to this quote I have up by one of my Accounting 2101 students, which is one of the introductory accounting courses. I asked one time something about if students read their textbook, and the student answered, "Textbook? What's a textbook?" But again, as you see from those questions, people don't like to read. Do you like to read? Now, I like to read for pleasure, but do you enjoy reading textbooks? If you teach currently, do your students read the textbook? Have you ever asked them? Do you think that they're reading the textbook? I'm going to guess probably not. And that's what I've seen for my students as well. And again, this attention span that we've looked at with these questions, you've got to get people's attention quickly, and you have to be able to hold it. It doesn't last long, right? And we're much more likely to want to watch something, just like this presentation, than read the same something. So all of this got me thinking about how to change things up for my courses so that it would best get the content to the students, because it certainly was not getting to them through the textbook. So I reimagined the entire content of my courses. I wanted to get the content to my students, but I knew that I couldn't do this in, one, a lot of text, and two, not in a long period of time. That attention span is short. So I've got to have things in very small bites of content. I can't expect a student to want to listen to a lecture for an hour and a half. It's not going to happen. Also, I had to make sure that I could grab that attention and really keep their focus. So it had to be something that was engaging, entertaining, something that they wanted to look at, was visually appealing. And so I had to kind of rethink the model of read the textbook, answer questions. That wasn't really working. And I wanted something that students would use and would actually retain information from. So not only did I want to put this into small, really engaging bites of content, but I also wanted to reinforce that almost immediately with some type of an assessment. So say, okay, here you go, let's look at this content or talk about this content, and now let's see, did you actually learn something from the content? So I thought, let's change this over from a textbook situation to video situation. Again, those questions that we looked at, and there's research that shows that people are much more likely to watch than to read. So I took everything I wanted a student to know about a course and assumed that they're never going to open a textbook. How can I take all that content and put it into small, manageable, fun bites in video format? Where I started with this process were the first introductory courses of accounting. I'm an accounting professor. That's what I teach. And the two intro courses to accounting have extremely high DFW rates. And that's not just at my institution. That's across the country. This seems to be a prevalent problem. So these were the initial focus of this retooling that I imagined with this content. And that's where I started to try to help address this DFW rate and make the content hopefully easier for students to both get and retain and master in these courses so that they would be successful. I didn't just want to re-envision how the content was presented, but I also wanted to make our LMS, our learning management system, more visually appealing and engaging as well. So if I changed the content, but it was boring in how it was delivered visually, that wasn't going to be really great. So I redid the design on my courses in our learning management system. So now you can see it's pretty, right? We have pictures everywhere and color and graphics, and again, something to hopefully grab that attention and hold it there for at least a little bit, right? So I can get some content to them, communicate with them, and convey some things to the students, because again, now I've gotten that attention, right? So totally did a redesign on all of the courses so that again, it would be more visually appealing and hopefully also something that would draw the students in and get them engaged more with the course and the content. Part of that was also reorganizing the content within each of the LMS courses so that it was very easy to find things, to really go through and look at what was the best flow of information in each of the courses, in each of the contents. Did we need sub-content, sub-modules, those types of things? How is this best laid out? Not just so that it's visually appealing, but also that it's very user-friendly and very easy to find. Students aren't lost, don't know where things are, but it's very easy to find things and flow from one item, topic to the next within the course. And as I mentioned before, I took all of the content that I wanted students to know and made video clips for these. So again, back to that attention span we started out with in the presentation, these can't be very long. So I wanted to have short video content. Again, very manageable bites of content for the students to watch. And again, hopefully that helps them to retain it, actually use it, watch it, listen to it, and then retain the information as well. So I embedded short clips into our LMS, into these modules, and then followed each of these up with a very short assessment. So they would watch maybe a 3-minute video, and as you see, I've tried to make these videos very engaging and fun. These look like cartoons, right? And then immediately after they watch this little video, then they're asked a couple of short multiple choice questions that are about the video. So it reinforces what they've watched, makes sure that they've actually kind of understand those main concepts out of there, and gives a quick assessment to make sure they're on the right track. Again, in short, manageable bites. I keep referring to short or small bites, but how short are we talking? Well, MIT did a study about this and the optimal video time. And they found that the optimal video is less than 6 minutes. So that's what I kept in mind when I recorded these content videos. I wanted them all to be 6 minutes or less. Now, I probably have about 3 that might have gone a little over that, but not much. So again, I wanted to focus on keeping the attention of my students and creating something that they would actually watch and hopefully retain this information. So my videos range, but I have one that's maybe as short as a minute long, some that are 5, some that are 2. Again, it varies, but with all these, I kept in mind this 6-minute max. If it was longer than that, or substantially longer, then that meant this needed to be broken into smaller bites of content and multiple videos created for that. Now, I've talked about these videos. How about let's watch one? I'm going to show you my shortest video that I created, which is less than a minute. Hi, future accountant. Get ready to meet your new BFF. Who is this bestie? None other than the accounting equation. This little guy is going to get you through the whole semester. You can call him ALE for short. Wait, not that kind of ALE. ALE, short for assets, liabilities, and equity. If you want to know accounting, you've got to get to know ALE really well. Our 2 primary functions of accounting are measurement and communication. How do we know what we need to measure? ALE to the rescue! Any business activity or business transaction that would change or impact the accounting equation is something that we need to measure and record. So cozy up, exchange numbers, have a chat, and get to know ALE. So, what'd you think? Did it keep your attention? Let's see how you did on retaining some information. So just like I ask my students to do, watch the video, answer a few questions. Scan the QR code and answer 2 quick questions about that video. These are the same questions I ask my students. Let's see how you can measure up. Again, if you need some extra time, pause the presentation, and then when you're ready, unpause it, and we'll keep on going. Did you get the answers right? I know you did. Now, let's talk about how I made these videos, and we're going to pretty much spend the rest of the time going through that, and I'm even going to walk you through how you can make your own using the same tool. So I used an online resource called Powtoon. I love Powtoon. It's so easy to make a video, or it can be something that's maybe complicated is the wrong word, but you can be very basic, or you can get really in depth with this the more that you learn. So there are a lot of different views as well for Powtoon videos. So it can look like the one that I just showed you, very cartoonish and animated. And again, my focus there was trying to get something that the students would think, hey, what's this? And again, engage the student, be very visual, movement, things that would keep their attention. But there are a lot of other types of videos that you can record on Powtoon as well. So it doesn't all have to look cartoony. It can look like real life things. It can look like you drawing on a whiteboard. You can have, a hand that comes over and writes things. So there are a lot of different things that it can look like. But I'll get into more of that later. But this is the tool that I used, Powtoon. Okay. But let's talk about, I've talked about videos, but let's talk about some other things you can do with Powtoon as well. It's not just for fun cartoon videos, right? For content. I've used Powtoon for a whole host of reasons. Here are a couple of examples of things that I've done and used Powtoon for. So I've done an intro to my class and I used Powtoon. So I've used like the cartoon one. You can also use one that is you in a bubble, like a webcam kind of a look with some background and some other, jazzy, fun, eye-catching type of things. I've done course welcome. So when I welcome students to the course, not just an intro of me, usually my professor intro is talking about things about me, but the course welcome is things about the course, or even a course walkthrough where I take them through and walk them through the course and maybe where to find things in the course, especially if it's an online only course so students feel comfortable with where things are. I've also done this for syllabus purposes because again, just like the textbook, are the students going to read that 10-page syllabus? Probably not. So I pull out the major important things that the students want to know and that I want them to know, and I present it to them in a video instead. Again, not with a lot of text, more graphics, visuals, and voice. So I've done this for what I call a syllabus highlights reel as well. I've also done this for supplemental materials, things like these content videos or some other supplemental items as well, maybe exercise walkthroughs or something like that. I've done topic intros as well. So again, just a short little clip, a short video to talk about, hey, all right, here's our new topic. This is what it's about. Here's what we're going to discuss. Micro lectures. So again, short pieces of content, not an hour and 15 minutes, but something that's, again, very condensed, little micro lectures of things. And with these for online and for an in-class, you can do where you would think to do maybe like PowerPoint slides for a class. I've used Powtoon because there's animation on there as well. Again, even if you're doing something that doesn't look like a cartoon, something that looks like real world. Let's say you've got a vista there of a cityscape and it's got some clouds rolling in the back. Well, there's movement there. There's something that attracts the attention. So it's a little different than just a static one-dimensional picture. So it has that capability as well. So I've used it for in-class and online slides to do with lecture presentations as well. I've done exercise demonstrations where I go through and do different exercises that our class would do, almost kind of like in a whiteboard scenario, or again, I've done them with the cartoon graphics, and then I write out things or have it presented and go through exercises as well. And I've also done this for project instructions. So instead of having, a Word document that has everything you're supposed to do for the project, I give you a video with the same information, but I'm talking and I'm giving you very short bullet points perhaps, and again, something that's colorful, perhaps animated, things that will catch the eye and hopefully pull that content in so that you actually are looking at it, using it, and retaining it. So it's not just make a video. There are so many things. Now, the next couple of screens or slides here, I'm going to give you several examples of these. I think I've got 4 examples of different uses of Powtoon with the video form. Now, you can look at the full video or feel free to advance it and look at different pieces of these as you go through. Let me tell you the examples that I have on these next 4 slides so you'll know what these are. So the first one is an example of giving project instructions. The second example you're going to have is a course welcome. The third example that you're going to have is syllabus highlights. And the fourth example are lecture slides. So I believe all of them except for the last example is going to have either me talking over this, it's going to have some animation, it's going to have some background music perhaps even, but the last one is not going to look quite, I guess, as exciting because these are what I use in a face-to-face class or in a live lecture online as the slides. So I'm live with these, talking about them and advancing through them. But you'll notice as these slides advance through that you can see how they're a little different than a PowerPoint slide because, again, there's motion on them. There are different things that make it, I think, a little bit more engaging and eye-catching to a viewer or a student of these. So again, it'll just kind of give you a feel. And these also show the different types of looks that you could see using different things in Powtoon. So again, go through these at your own pace. Don't feel like you have to watch every second of each of these examples, but go through, kind of fast forward, rewind, whatever you want to do, and look at little pieces of each of them so you can kind of get a feel for each of these. And when you get done with those, then I'll see you on the other side and we'll talk some more. Hi, and welcome to the Summer Accounting Institute at Valdosta State University. We're excited to have you with us. This course covers 4 different areas of accounting: financial, cost, tax, and audit. Each area is taught by a different professor that specializes in that area. The professor for our financial area is yours truly, Dr. Cori Cruz. Coverage for this area will take place during weeks 1 through 5 of the course. The professor for our cost area is Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Coverage for this area will take place during weeks 6 and 7 of the course. The professor for our tax area is Dr. Candace Witherspoon. Coverage for this area will take place during week 8 of the course. The professor for our audit area is Dr. Raymond Elson. Coverage for this area will take place during weeks 9 through 12 of the course. You will find the content for each area in separate modules in the course. Each area will have specific instructions from that area professor concerning requirements and assessments for that area. A word of caution. This is a very intensive course. The dedication and time commitment required to be successful in this course should not be taken lightly. A large amount of time each day should be dedicated to the course and the completion of all course requirements. We want you to succeed in this course, and to do so requires a very serious commitment and self-dedication to master the content and complete all course requirements. The course will move at a very rapid pace and cover a large amount of content. Make sure you are aware of all assignments, as all deadlines will be strictly enforced. Please see the course syllabus in this module for full course details, policies, and a course assignment schedule. Your next step is to read the course syllabus and get started on the first area. See you in the financial module. Now that you've seen some examples, let's try it out together. I don't want to just show you what it looks like. I want you to do it with me so you can feel confident about making a video or one of these other resources using Powtoon. So the address is down at the bottom, www.powtoon.com. If you'll go there, you can create a free account. And then as we go through this and I kind of walk you through some different features and how to make things, you can do it along with me, hands-on. So again, pause the presentation, go to Powtoon, create a free account, then come back and let's get started making something fun together. When you log into Powtoon, this is what you'll see. This is your dashboard. So if you have some Powtoons created already, you'll see on the right over here that you have them listed, or you can click view all. You see I have quite a few that I've created. So you can go here, you can view them, you can edit them, you can export them. But for right now, let's come over here and look to the left. So they have templates, and for a basic beginner, that's where we're gonna start. Now you can also import things and you can start from scratch. So right now though, we're gonna look at the templates. You can also notice at the bottom, there's some featured templates here, but let's just click on the templates option. All right, so we've got several things in the middle here, but let's talk about a couple of items. Across the top, you have some different types of templates. So if you click and look, there's several different things. Learning and development, let's see what that one is, just for fun. Yes, we're very likely. Oh, let's don't do that now. Okay, so you can scroll down and see based on that criteria, some of the pre-designed templates that are here in Powtoon. Again, you can go back up here and say, hey, we really want some things related to education. Let's look at those. So these are specifically more student-oriented. These are more faculty and teacher-oriented. So you can look through those. These are administration-oriented, right? So you can look through the different types of things. Colleague profile, for instance, a year in review. So you can look through all of these different ones. Again, you can click on just teachers and faculty, for instance, and scroll through all of those that they've got for teachers and faculty, and you may find one that you really like. So the basic, I would say, start with a template. It's already designed for you and it's very easy to just edit. So let's say that you really like the idea of doing an introduction to your class, like I discussed and like you saw me do. So let's do one of those ourselves, just like I had. Oh my, and now we have a guest lecturer with us. That is my cat, Frank. So he may pop in to give you some words of wisdom or some meows of wisdom as we go. All right, let's click on this teacher introduction. All right, the first thing it does is it will pull up a preview for you. So I'm going to pause that. But it'll pull up a preview and you can look at what this template looks like before you select it. You watch it and say, hey, that looks great. I want to use that one. But now remember, you can edit some things as well. Frank says, yes, editing is great. All right, so let's click Edit in Studio. It will load the awesomeness as it says. So give it just a second. And this is going to pull up all of the slides in that particular Powtoon. So it could have a couple, it could have many. This one doesn't have too many. And then we're going to be able to fully edit this template. So we could change everything about it if we wanted to. It's taking a second. So sorry, I'll just talk through. You can edit text, you can edit images, you can edit colors and backgrounds and sounds and everything. So again, this is a good way to kind of get accustomed to Powtoon if this is new to you, so that you're not doing this from scratch. Now you can, we'll talk about that in a minute, but if you just want to kind of, again, get in here, do something quickly, then using a template would be the way to go. So all right, here's your teacher intro. They already have some placeholders for us, like we're gonna have to put our name in there, right? I will say the first thing I usually do though is come up here, the very top, this is the title. So it's saved as teacher intro. But I'm going to save this as, oh, I said I got to select it. All right, as, no, not question mark, as Cruise Intro Accounting. Okay, that way the template name is not this what's saved. I've saved it specific to me, and it's easier to find in my Powtoon later. So if you want to change that, I would suggest to change that title. Then let's come in here and edit. So let's click on your name. So I'm going to double click or just click on there and I'm going to highlight all of this. And I'm going to change this to Dr. Cruz. All right. Also notice over here at the side panel, when you click on some text, there's several things that you can do with this. So if I didn't like the text, I could come up here. It's Arial round right now, but I could change this. So you can scroll through and see all the different fonts that you can use. So there's lots of them. I'll let you play with that on your own. But any of those you choose would change this. So if I wanted this instead to look like a pencil, then I could do that. If I said, oh, I don't really like that, just hit the undo button. It goes right back to it. There are other things we can do too. You can change the font size, make it larger or smaller. You can make it bold, italicized, you can underline it. You can change the text background as well. Again, you can left, center, right. You can change the spacing. You can bullet or number list things. You can change the color of the text, the opacity. You can do effects as well. So this is if you want like the Dr. Cruz to fly in from the side, right? Or do something else. So there's several different effects that you can do. So again, I'm getting a bit advanced, right? Because it's so fun. I'm so sorry. But if you want to say, that's way too advanced for me, cool. All you need to do is say, hey, I changed my name. It says my name now. Great. Good deal. You're done. Okay. All right. So let's go here though, because maybe you don't look like this, or maybe you don't like this person, or maybe, you just want something different. We can change the person. Now, this is one thing that is a little, not really tricky, but maybe aggravating about changing the template. The template is not linked for common items. So when you change this character, it's not going to change the characters on the other slides. And if you notice over here on our slide view, you have several of this same character. So if you change the character, you will have to change the character on each slide. But if you want to change that, just click on it as I've done. And at the top, we have several options as well. Swap is what you want to pick if you want to change the person. So then it's going to come over here and ask you, hey, what do you want to change it with? And you have several options of people to look at, right? So let's go into the omnis. Again, maybe you want something else. That's fine. You pick whatever, heroes at work, whatever you want, or you can go through and click them and look at them. That's fine. So let's say that instead you want, I thought they had omnis at work. I'm not seeing them. Maybe that's heroes at work. There are some that have actual, like work clothes on. Let me check. So you say, no, I don't like any of those. That's fine. You can click on something else. Let's go to heroes at work. Oh, that is the hero characters. They had another one that was, it doesn't matter. We're just going to click on omnis. All right, and let's say that, I don't know, we're just going to pick somebody out of the pile here. Oh, she has on a swimsuit. How about this lovely lady here? So again, what do you want them to do? Right now they're just saying hello. So we'll do hello too, but these are all of the actions that they can do. So if you scroll through and you hold your mouse there, they'll do the action and you can see what it looks like. Okay, so as you can see, there are a lot of options with things they can do. Oh, we're sleeping, right? Doing some crunches, we could exercise. Okay, again, see how this can get real fun and distracting. All right, we're saying hi, hello, there we go. All right, so that's great, but again, remember, you're gonna have to change the person on each slide. So now we go to the next slide. Or maybe you want a different person on each slide. I don't know, that might confuse your students though. And I'm so excited to be your teacher this year. All right, for most of us, year might not work. Maybe you are just a semester, right? So you might want to change that to semester. And that's a little bit big because we put too many words, right? So let's decrease the size just a little bit so it fits. I like that. That looks good. Okay. So there we go. And maybe you don't want teacher. Maybe you like the term professor. Maybe you want instructor. Maybe you're good with teacher. Again, it's just your option. Maybe you're not excited. Maybe you need to change this whole text. I don't know. But the point is you can edit this to your satisfaction. Again, we're going to want to swap this with our person that we chose before if you're being consistent. And they were saying hello. And so she's saying hello here. So we've got that. Okay. So now we're excited. Also, let me show you some other buttons here. You want to say, what's going to happen on this slide? We've got two play buttons down here. So this is play the slide. This is play from this point on. So if you see this little caret is what I call it, this indicator item, this is showing you what's happening at different points. And as it hits those on the timeline, that's showing you them coming in. So if you hit the big play button, it's just going to play from this point onward. If you want to play from the very beginning, regardless of where this is, and see what the slide looks like, then you would hit this one. Okay, so now I can see exactly what happens on this slide. I could change timings. I could move this if I want the happy face to come in quicker or maybe not quite as quick. I can pick this up and move this. So I can move it to make it delayed, or I can move it to have it happen sooner. Or maybe I'm good with right there, then I can just do that. So that's the timeline. Now, again, we're going to want to change the lady, right? But she's kind of excited this time. So when we swap her for this lady, I want to do happy as my action that I'm doing. So she matches. Again, you don't have to do that. You can do a different one. But if I'm just recreating this template, then that's what I would do. Again, the text on here, I'm fun, funny, and friendly. Maybe you aren't fun, funny, and friendly. Maybe you want some other descriptors for you, or maybe you don't like the alliteration with all 3 words beginning with F. Maybe you want to change it up. Whatever you want to do, you can change those. That's, again, totally up to you. I'm just going to leave it as is. Again, another one, but let's play it and see how this looks. Also, just to note, the little play or the play in brackets will stop at the end of the slide. If you use the big play button, it's going to play from the point on, wherever that is. Again, right here, it's at 5 seconds. It's going to start at 5 seconds, and it's going to continue playing through all of the slides until you hit pause. So that's also a difference between the play buttons. So if you're good with this, I'm passionate about shaping your bright young minds. Maybe you don't like young. Maybe you have a lot of non-traditional students. So maybe you want to change this to just minds, right? I'm passionate about shaping your bright minds. Or again, anything you want to change that to. Then we've got another slide. Oh, we've got a lot of things coming in here. I'm excited to put the excitement back into education. Again, change the text if you want. Push the play to see what this looks like. All these things are coming in, as you can see, at different times here. Even if you want to change the background, like if you don't like the blue, you could change that as well. If you click on that and hit swap, you can change to a different background if you want to. I'm okay with it though, so we're going to leave that for right now. Again, so let's go to the next slide. Let's swap. What's she doing here? Let's hit play. Oh, she's explaining something, it looks like. So let's swap her with our person here and explaining. There we go. So now my background is in fill in the blank, right? So again, what's your background in? Or do you want to get real specific? Is it, for me personally, my background is accounting, but do I want to get even more specific and say it's in, you know, financial accounting or managerial accounting or auditing? Do I want to be that specific? Right now, I'm just going to put accounting in there. You could put your background in there. Then again, so expect to learn a ton of great things, right? Let's swap out our person. She's still doing the explaining. So let's do explaining over here. There we go. Now, my goals for the year. You can put some goals for the class. A lot of times I take this one out because I'm just doing an intro and I don't want to get into course materials yet. I save that for like my little syllabus highlight reel. So if you don't want this one in here, or maybe you want to put something different on here entirely, maybe you don't even put goals on the year, maybe you, again, you can put something entirely different, or you can take this out. I'm going to delete this slide altogether. So I'm going to come over here, again, to the side where all my slides are. See the 3 dots on the right? Just going to hover over them. And then it gives me several options. I can add a scene, add like a slide over here. I can add a blank slide. I can extend this. I can duplicate it. I can save this one. If I really like this slide and think I'm going to use it again several times in different Powtoons, I can save this scene, or I can delete it. And that's what we want to do, is we want to delete this one. Okay, there we go. It's gone. Bye-bye. All right. Now, the next slide, we've only got 2 left, and you've made an entire Powtoon already. I can already tell you all have the awesome factor. Again, if you're good with that, fine. If you're not, alter that text to suit you. I'm going to swap again for our person here that is still explaining. We're explaining lots today. And then, so let's get started on a stellar year. Again, I didn't look back. That reminds me. Did anything say year? No, my background. Nope. Awesome factor. Okay, so I'm going to change this again to semester because we did that before. And sometimes it doesn't select when you think it does. That's okay too. And I'm going to extend this out because we changed this just a little bit. There we go. Now, all of these were in separate text boxes because they wanted them to come in a bit differently. and then it has that bus that's there, and then it moves to reveal our character, right? So if you want to reposition these a little bit, this is my one gripe with this program. There is no like snap to or grid line to make sure that they're all in line. Let's see, I really want this a little bit more. That they're all in line and even, and that drives me a little nuts. So I'm just gonna do my best job on this one, looking like it's somewhat even. Okay, I do want to change this person. Let's swap to our other person, and we're saying hello again. All right, there we go. Now, you have designed a Powtoon. You've done it. It's yours now. You've made it yours. Another thing you can do, if you go to this first screen, see the little music note here? If you click on that, that's got your background music. If you don't like that background music, you can delete it and add a new one. So how do we do that? Let's go over here and just show you the music. So if you go to audio, over to the side, you could say, all right, I want free music. We all love some free stuff, right? They have some pre-designed kind of mood motifs for you to pick. Like you maybe want something chill, maybe you want it motivational, maybe you just want to go through some of their most popular ones. When you click play on the left, it'll give you a preview of what it is. You can't see me, but I'm dancing with it. So, you know, you can continue to do this and figure out which one you like. And if you want to use one of those, then you can click use, and it will ask you, do you want to use it just for this slide or for the entire video? So again, that's also something that's a bit of an upgrade, which I'll show you the different options for this. There's a free version, but there's pay version, which in my opinion is well worth it. But there's several options for that. One option is, let's say you wanted to do voiceovers of this, like I did with mine, where you hear my voice. The free version, you have to do the whole thing with one file. But any of the upgrades, you can record slide by slide. So I can record just this slide, with an audio for that. And then I can also have background music behind it as well, like you saw in mine. So again, without even getting advanced, you can see that there are a lot of options to make this very advanced, very involved, or you can just use a template, keep it simple, and now you've got something very easy and quick to send out for your students. So now that we're done, what do we do with this? Well, we go up to the top and we click on export. Now, before I do that though, here's two ways you can use this. You can preview the video with this and it'll play the whole thing, or you can do present slideshow. This is what I do when I create Powtoons to use in lectures, either face-to-face or live lectures. So when I do present slideshow, it doesn't show it as a video, it shows it one slide at a time. Then it stops when that slide is complete. Then I have to advance it for it to go on to the next one. So again, this is not a setup that's very conducive to that option, but when I make those slides that are purposely for lectures, that's what I want it to do. It may have animation and things moving, but I don't want it to automatically advance to the next slide. For a video like this, I do want it to automatically do that. You can also toggle up here to switch it between slideshow view and video view when you're in here. So if we're back here in the edit, we're going to go to export, and I have several options. In fact, I have more than this of how to export this. I can just share a link. It keeps that on the Powtoon website and just shares a link where you can view it on the Powtoon website. You can download the actual MP4 and then do anything you want with that. You can download it as an image, but again, now you've lost pretty much the reason that you probably did this in Powtoon, to have movement, sound, all the things that are engaging. You can download an animated GIF. That would be fun if you wanted to make it a GIF or a GIF. There's, you know, two camps with how to pronounce this. To use on social media or your website or something fun with your LMS. That would be interesting too. You could create your own. You could create a video page on Powtoon. You can send this to teams. So if you have teams that you use a lot, you can send this directly to YouTube. You can also download this as a PowerPoint, but again, it's not going to have all of this animation and things that you have here necessarily. I send mine straight to YouTube. Now, if not, I would probably download it as an MP4 and then use it. But I send it straight over to my YouTube channel because YouTube does such a good job now of closed captioning, auto closed captioning. So I send it over to YouTube, I save it, it has the closed captioning automatically, and then I take that YouTube and I embed it wherever I want it. So that's what I do when I export these out. So that's your option at this point. Now you could just export it as an MP4 and then you've got it to either upload somewhere, or you've got it on your hard drive. You can then upload it to YouTube then if you want to, or another platform as an actual MP4. So that's a very basic, and even that took a minute, but it's because it's so fun, right? Okay, so want to see some more advanced things? Let's get advanced with this as well. Okay, let's go back to our dashboard or main. We can go there by going home. Now, we don't actually have to, but let's just go home to do the next thing. We don't have to do that, but I'll just show you. So you would go right back here to where we started, and your new Powtoon that you just made is right there, okay? Now you can make groups in your Powtoons, organize it by class, different things, but it's right there, and you can either click on it or you could click on the three dots and say, I need to edit it, I want to preview it. Again, you have several options here as to what to do with that Powtoon. Now, let's do some advanced, and let's say that we don't want to go the easy route. We don't want to use a template. We want it to be totally customized, personalized, all our own. Now, what I'm about to do, you can still do with a template though. You can have a template that roughly you like it. Maybe you want to add some things into it. Maybe you want to change some things. So you can still customize it highly. But I'm just going to start from a blank, scratch nothing to kind of show you how this works from scratch. If you want to have fully customized everything you did yourself kind of a thing. But even remember with a template, you could add a slide in and make a couple new slides, right? All your own. So there's an in-between for this. So if we're going to make it from scratch, there's a couple of options. Do you want to do a capture? You can also do like a screen recording of yourself on some of this. You can do it horizontally, a square, or vertically. I think that's our only options, yes. I do horizontal pretty much all of the time, unless I was specifically doing something to maybe post on social media. I'm going to do horizontal because then it works for any type of online platform that we're using. So that's the one I'm going to click. Again, give it just a second to load in. So it's going to look like the same thing we had with the template, except now there's no pre-done, pre-designed slides. Now I also ask you to pick a look, which I referred to earlier. There's more than just one look for these things, right? It's not this is all cartoon. So the one that we did before was technically animation, I think is the thing. So it gives you kind of a preview at the bottom of some of the ways this could look. It's not the only thing. And then cartoon is the other one. Again, there's some of the examples. Again, it says, and many more, yes. Then you could have a whiteboard. So there's some color, but not a lot. And again, it's more of drawing, and you can have a hand that comes up and you can pick different hands. So again, it looks more maybe like you or like one that you want, or you can switch it up and do lots of different ones. With a hand that comes in and draws things as well. So kind of those drawer presentations. Or you can have something that looks like actual life, real people, those types of things, buildings and people and real things. I typically use this one a lot when I'm doing lecture slides. So a lecture presentation that's going along with a live lecture or an in-class lecture. But you don't have to. If you like those better and you just want real world things instead, awesome. Or you can mix it up. So you can do a combo of any of these. I tend to go with animation the most for my little content videos. But again, totally your choice. But I'm just going to click that one today just to kind of show you what we're doing. You can collaborate as well with other people and both work on something. We're not going to do that right now. You can also add comments, especially if you're collaborating. That would be helpful. All right, so here's our first slide. It's blank. That's what we told it we wanted. Now, there are some generic layouts that you can have. So let's say that you are doing something for education, or maybe like me, you're in a business related field. So really Office would work better, but let's just see what they've got in education in general. So these are some already done slides, right? There's one that's just kind of like a title slide. Let's see, let's just poke around and see what else we got. Here's Office. Oh, okay, lots of people working in the office, signing a contract. Now again, if some of these are close but not quite it, again, you can change these and customize them to however you like. Another thing that you can do in these scenes, let's say you want just something that's like a welcome screen. You can type in welcome at the top and do a search. And then you see it gives you a couple of different things. There's one scene that has something about welcome. I don't know why construction site is welcoming, but okay. There's a lot of backgrounds, 2 texts, some characters, some props. So again, if you said, what props are welcome? Oh, okay. That makes sense, right? Okay, so maybe we don't like any of those. Great, we'll just get rid of those. Let's go back to scenes. Again, I'm over here on the right. I'm going to scenes. And let's just say that education one down here, this title slide, maybe we should type in title. Ooh, maybe we should do that and see if that gives, look at all the things we have here. I've got a lot that look like a title slide now. So maybe I want to pick one of these for my beginning. Maybe I'm doing a content slide about a certain topic. So let's see. Again, you just scroll through these. Now we're getting more details on these, right? Ooh, problem solved. That looks like a fun one. Let's pick one of these title slides. Doesn't really matter. Again, you pick the one you like. I'm going to pick one I like. There's one with a hand that comes in and changes things. All right, I'm just going to pick this one. Here we go. All right, I'm going to hit the little play button so I can see what animation might already be on there. Okay, so that's what this one looks like. All right, so I'm going to put maybe, again, sorry. See, I told y'all sometimes that's tricky. Maybe we're doing, chapter 1. Cash. Yeah, whatever that is. I don't generally like to time out chapters all the time because then if you change text, I'd like to do more content driven. Like I just want to talk about inventory or whatever it might be. So maybe instead you say, hey, this is Accounting 2101 and we're going to be talking about inventory today. And maybe you need a subtitle, maybe you don't. Again, so if that's too much, you can decrease the font size. You can also, it'll make sure that you spelled things right because I left an S out. You can increase this font box to make that bigger. Maybe you say, I don't want to really put this for 2101. Maybe I want to use this in more than one class. Let's take this out. So we can just select this. Haven't selected the individual, but the box is selected. I'm just gonna hit the delete key. It's gone. Or let me show you another way to do that. Down here, see it's selected down here? I can also click on things down here to select them. I want to click on just the accounting item. And now I'm gonna hit delete. Okay, it's gone. All right, so that's what I want. All right, so now my slide's done. I've got my title slide. Maybe I don't like the green. Can we change the green? You can. You can go swap and change that. You can change the white to something else. Again, you can customize all of this. All right, but let's say we're good with that title slide. So we're gonna add a blank side. So what do we wanna say? What do we wanna do next? Again, it just depends on what you want in your presentation. We wanna talk about what inventory is. We wanna give examples of inventory. Again, maybe inventory is not your jazziest topic. It was just the first thing that came to mind, but you get the point. Let's say we want to look at a factory. We're making inventory. Do we have any scenes that, nope, doesn't look like it. What about a box? Boxes sound fun. We have some props that are boxes. Look at all these props. And look, some of them have movement to them. So if you hover over them, it shows you, pizza boxes, makes me hungry. It shows you what that animation does. Some of them don't have animation, but you can at least see what it's going to do before you choose that. Let's look at maybe equipment. Maybe we want something with equipment, right? Or maybe we want to look at, is there a store? Again, you get the point, right? So you've got a lot of different things that you can search for. So you don't have to just go, okay, what about props? Well, what prop? They have them by, again, by different category, but you can search if you know that you want a specific one, all right? But if not, you can go look through the categories and just see if something works. Say, oh, I want a forklift. That would work. Ooh, an ice cream truck. Okay, I'm gonna look. I think I might have, and again, if you use this a lot, you can also save scenes, like I mentioned before. So under my scenes or any that have been saved. So I've saved quite a few that I've used more than once in some of my slides. So let's use this one. We've got someone going to purchase some shoes in a store. So I could begin and have background narration of, hey, let's talk about what is inventory. And I could give a brief little synopsis of this, and then I could add another slide. So you see that while I'm adding things, I'm not really adding things blankly. So I'm really using kind of slide by slide templates for this. Maybe I want to make a list of what some examples of inventory are. There's a good one that looks like it's got a good list. We got a couple of others that look like they've got good lists on these. So again, it doesn't mean I have to make everything from scratch. So here's another one, and I can just add my text in, right? And again, it has animation. We can click the little plus to see the little play, button to see what happens and in what order it happens and how much time I've got in between, right? And if I record something and need more time, I can come in here and add. So I can say, hey, I need another second right there. I can add it, add 1 second. I could take a second away. So that when I record this, I can change these animations, or maybe I just need to click on it and move it around, advance it or make it happen later or earlier in the slide to match up with whatever I've recorded for this particular slide. And that's why I like some of the upgraded plans, because you can do a slide-by-slide recording. Now, what if you just want to totally freehand this thing? You can do that too. Let's go into the settings. I didn't really show you that before. Let me go back to the slide. Remember I said, hey, what if I want something other than green? If I click on settings and you go to color, maybe you don't like that green. Maybe it's a little blah to you. You just don't care for it. Maybe say, I like a green, but let's do like a dark green. Sure, you can do that. But now we do have other things that are green. So we want to change those to the same green. Okay, I can't change that one. So there we go. We could do that and change those as well. So you could have a solid background on something if you want a background, just like that, right? Like that. Or you could go over here, change it back to white. You go over here, clear off mine. Let's go over here to background. You have a lot of different options for background. Okay, maybe I want a location. Maybe I want this to be like I'm somewhere. Let's make a factory up. Let's make some inventory, right? What have we got here? Just a good old wall. That works. A bathroom. I don't think we need a bathroom. I like this one. At least it gives me a little color. Let's do this. And let's see if I've got some equipment and props that might work for making kind of a factory scene. Well, okay, let's try machinery. It's not really it. Nope. How about factory? Oh, there we go. Okay, I can use one of these. Again, if you hover over it, oh, I like this one. It's got boxes coming out of it. Here we go. All right, now we've got somebody. It's moving some stuff around. And how many times do I want it to do that animation? So let's go. Let me click on this and go into settings. I want that animation to go forever while I'm on this slide. I don't want it to stop. Maybe you've got something like a car that drives in. You just want it to drive in and stop, and that's all you want it to do. You don't want it to do that, over and over. So I'm going to push play and loop though. That way this will continue doing this over and over and over and over and over the whole time this slide is playing. It won't quit. If you want it to stop, you just tell how many times you want it to do this action. But I'm going to put it in loop so it can go over and over and over and over and over, right? So again, now I can add text if I want to. Let's say I click on text and I want to add, again, title's big, subtitle, or body text, just different automatic sizes, but you can change them once you get there. Or you can have these different elements if you wanted just something automatic so you don't have to create it, like a text bubble or one of these. Let's see, like this, and then we can move this whole thing around. And you can have that show up later, Doesn't have to show up immediately. Now, notice, where did it show up on the ribbon? It showed up where I was when I clicked the button. So maybe I don't want it at 1.5 seconds. Maybe I want to shift this. Now, see if I shift it, if I shift the whole thing, it keeps how long it's there and the transition in and out. So it came in, it also is going out. Let's say that instead, I want this to start at 4 seconds, but I want it to stay there for the rest of the time. Or maybe I don't want it to start until 7 seconds near the end of the slide. Or maybe my slide ends up being 30 seconds and I need to change it all together. But this text will now show up at 7 seconds and it'll stay for the whole rest of the time. It won't disappear at the end. So now my slide looks like this. I've got items here, we're moving, we're walking, we're talking, and now the text pops up, right? So again, there are so many different things. I know I could do this for hours and hours, but I won't do that. So let me show you just a few other things and then we'll stop. But you see how much you can design this. Again, you can get really crazy with designing individual items if you wanted to. Like let's say you wanted a tree, right? You're gonna design an entire park by itself. You can stick this tree. Now notice that comes in at 1 second, so you have to be careful. You want a tree here. You wanna duplicate that at the same 1 second. Come back, so you drag it back to 1 second and we're gonna paste it. And now move it over here maybe for 2 trees. You want a bench. Let's see if we've got a bench. Nah, let's see, how about a bicycle? Yeah, we got a bike coming in. You want a bike coming in over here. Maybe you want it to drive all the way across the screen. So hang on. Let's say it drives all the way over here and stops right there. So to do that, we go to Effects and say, okay, we want it to come in on the left. All right, let's see what that looks like. See if it looks like what we envisioned. Whew, there we go. Okay, that's what you want, cool. If you don't, but again, I could make this entire scene up myself. I also do things like this. I won't show you the entire, but let's say I want to do an example. So you can also put text on, I'm trying to find a good one for you. You can put text as an example and follow through an example. Let's see what this one is. Oh, I have a lot of, let's don't do that one. That's not me actually doing one. But you can have information up there. Here's one where you're doing an example, and as you go through, those items pop up.
Let's visit the Heavenly Soul Shoe Boutique again and go through some sales transactions. Assume the boutique sold $500 in shoes to a customer on account. Anytime we have a sale of inventory, there are 2 journal entries recorded. One entry deals with the sale and sales price, and the other entry deals with the inventory.
So you get the point. Again, later I can put on some actual information. You see later we put on the actual journal entry for this and talk about that. And I just have things come in and out and appear and disappear as I'm talking about that. And so you can have it be a live example as well and have things come in as you talk about that. So you can record your voice over. You can add audio. You can even add audio as like almost like a special effect, like a light bulb coming on and you hear like the light bulb sound with that. So all those are in audio. You can also insert pre-done videos, like a background that has video to it where things are moving like this lovely family here, and that could be something in there. So there are some pre-done video things as well. And all the music, like I showed you before, you can do those slide by slide. You can do background for the entire presentation and still do voiceovers on each slide. So there's so much that you can do with Powtoon, and it's so fun. I didn't change my title up here, but you might want to do that too. So this is how you do it. Again, kind of more advanced, very customized, very different, but you can still start with a template and still be very customized with a template as well. But again, starting from scratch doesn't mean you really have to build everything from scratch. You can still use scenes and pre-done slides so that you're not doing this on an individual. Now let me wrap up the Powtoon demonstration just by showing you the difference in plans. So these are the different plans. There is a free version. You're limited to 3 minutes. And again, all this is at the time I'm recording this. Things obviously could change in the future. You're limited by storage as well. And I'm on the Pro Plus version. I don't usually upgrade a lot of things. I try to get away with the free version of things as much as possible, but this one was definitely worth the upgrade. I got this on a 50% off Black Friday deal, which continued each year that I've continued with Powtoon. That price didn't change. It wasn't a 1-year thing, so that was great. So the Pro, you can go up to 10 minutes, and the Pro Plus is 20. But again, like I told you before, I'm limiting videos to 6 minutes or less. So I don't need that extra 20 minutes, but the Pro Plus really gives me a lot more items that I can choose from, like the props and the scenes and those different things. Other things are, you don't have a Powtoon sign. There's no branding on the video. If the free version, when you export that out, it has the Powtoon emblem or symbol on the bottom. You can download it as an MP4 at both of those other levels. You can't from the free. There's, again, some other things you can see here. You can customize the characters a little bit with the Pro. Agency has even more types of customization, but the Pro Plus is more than enough. And again, the Pro Plus down here at the soundtrack, so you got unlimited access to the music and the objects. So everything in there you have access to, which was worth it for me. Also, recording slide by slide was well worth it. So again, other things that you get. Now, the pricing for this is up above here. So again, fortunately, my institution pays for my subscription, but I got this on, like I say, like on a half off sale. So that was great as well. But they do have, and again, you can toggle between monthly and annual. The pricing is a little different. They do have education plans though. So the education plan is much more budget friendly, right? So the teacher version, they also have a student version, is only $8 a month or $96 billed yearly. And so it lets you download as an MP4. It does have the EDU branding for the teacher and the student, so the branding is on there, but it gives the teacher unlimited access on the music and the objects as well. So that's awesome. And again, just like the Pro Plus, it's up to the 20 minutes and you can download that as an MP4. So the education one, I'd have to check on this to make sure they have the side-by-side recording. That was one of the biggest features that I wanted with the upgrade, is to make sure that I could record slide by slide with this. So there's some options here. So just want to, again, and this is at the time I'm recording this, obviously these could change, but just to give you a feel for what you're talking about as far as an upgrade might be concerned. I hope you liked that hands-on tutorial, and I love Powtoon. I think you can see all the different ways that you could possibly use this. Some I haven't even described or talked about, but I really enjoy it, and I really think that the students like it as well. I've asked the students in my classes, what do you think about this? Do you like the videos? Do you not like the videos? Specifically about my content videos that I've made. Here are just a few of the comments that I've gotten back from my students about these content videos. And as you can see, as you read through these on your own, they like them as well. They think they're helpful, they enjoy them, they actually watch them. So I think it's a win-win. They do take some effort and some time put in to make them, but I think it's well worth it when the students are actually watching them and retaining information from them. I mentioned before that I started changing up and how I'd done my courses and creating these content videos in those courses that had high DFW rates. So just to kind of circle back and give you just a little bit of information on that, again, not the huge focus here, but to show you that it does seem to have had some impact. So these are my DFW rates in that first accounting course, that introductory accounting course, when I first began with the content videos. So we've got the first semester, I believe before I put these into play, and then the following semester, that spring of 2022, you see those DFW rates went down. Then they went down in summer again. Now they bumped up in fall, and fall was a very odd semester. And I believe the problem with fall is that for the first time that I can remember in my career as a professor, I had about half of my students that never came to class. I mean, maybe it wasn't the exact half, but I only had half of my class each time. And it was very odd. And this is not a class that you can just not come to class and do well in. So for whatever reason that was, we had some bad grade issues because of lack of attendance. They didn't drop the course, they just didn't come. So I curtailed that problem in the following semester by requiring attendance. And I think you can see that the grades went back to kind of an expected amount. So it does seem, again, it might not be the only thing, but it does seem that those content videos have helped with these DFW rates. In addition to getting DFW information, I also polled my class and asked specifically about the content videos. Did they like them? Did they not like them? And also about expected grades, but I really enjoyed also looking at their perceptions of the course to see if those changed any. I can see easily if their grade changed, but what about their perception of the course and their perception of the difficulty of the course itself, and did that shift after I put these content videos in place? And I found that they did change. So these are their perceptions of the content and the difficulty of the course at the start of the semester. And you'll notice on the next slide we have coming up, it's going to show you how their perception shifted at the end of the semester. You'll notice that their perceptions on both of these got better from the beginning to at this point in the semester. So not only did these seem to help out with grades, but these also seem to help out with student perceptions of a course that sometimes gets the bad rap of being a very difficult course. I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation. I hope you've gotten some things out of it, some new information, hopefully a new tool that you can use, Powtoon, and you feel comfortable maybe starting something on your own and being able to create some good content for your own uses. So thank you so much for being with me today and being with us for this presentation. If you have a question, I'm not with you today that you can ask me live, but feel free if you want to get in touch with me to ask a question or to delve further with something. I've got my contact information for you here. This is my email as well as my office phone. And also I've given you my YouTube channel address here so that if you want to go and look at any of my other videos that I've created, these content videos for accounting or any of the other items that I might have on YouTube, feel free to do that as well. So again, thank you so much for being with me. I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope you've gotten something out of the presentation today.